Hey, welcome collectors of all ages. This is Mike with Jayhawker Vintage Cards, and this is a video that's almost 2 months in the making. And so I'm going to show an item that I have been waiting to get. Well, I've already gotten it once before, but I'm hoping today, and you're going to see me do it on this video, so I'm going to open this package. So what this package is, if you watched my previous videos, you'll know what I'm going to show here. I bought a 1951 Wheaties Premium Stan Musial. Bought it on eBay because the price point went through eBay authentication. Now I live in the Kansas City area, so I'm in the heart of the country. And so wherever the seller was, they had to send it to eBay authentication. I did a little bit of research. I don't know where the hell that is. I don't know if it's in California or Nevada or New Jersey or now in Florida. It doesn't matter. You know, I'm in the center of the country, you know, right there, and this has been bouncing all over the place. They weren't able to authenticate it. Now, I didn't have an opportunity to say, hey, it's already authenticated and graded by SGC. Here's the button. Can I push? Just send it to me. I don't have that option. Not only that, it was there for several weeks before they let me know that they couldn't authenticate it because of the way it was listed by the seller. Couldn't they have known that before they sent it off to eBay authentication? Isn't there some way that they could look at that listing and go, oh, yeah, this is not going to go through eBay authentication? Well, long story short, if you've watched my videos, you know what happened. I'll post a picture of it, if I still have it on my phone, right here. It became damaged, really bad. So eBay, they did me right. They reimbursed me to get it, to send it off back to SGC to get reslabbed. They paid for that cost, the shipping, everything. So I have it. It finally came. I bought this thing at the very beginning of June, and I just got it today through the mail. So we're going to open this up. If it looks good, if it doesn't have damage, I'm going to be really pumped up. If it's damaged, I'm going to lose my freaking mind on this camera. So before I do that, you know, Stan Musial is one of the greatest baseball players of all time. I think he's undervalued. People talk about him, but, you know, when you talk about the greats of the game, he's always like an afterthought, like at the end, like, oh yeah. So, you know, people will talk about the golden era, and they'll, you know, Joe DiMaggio, Ted Williams, Mickey Mantle, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente. Oh yeah, and Stan Musial. Don't want to forget Stan Musial. Now, I mean, to me, he's every bit as good as any of those players, better in my opinion than a lot of those players, and not just on the field, but off the field. You know, if you know anything about him, he was very welcoming to the African American, the black ball players who joined the major leagues. And there's great stories that you can read from guys in the All-Star game hanging around, and you kind of had the black players in one area and the white players in another area, and the black players were playing poker. And Stan Musial says, hey, fellas, deal me in. And he just hopped right in there. I have read countless of articles from the time I was a kid from black ball players who talked about how welcoming Stan Musial was. From Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Curt Flood, Vada Pinson. On and off the field, there's nothing that you can say about Stan Musial except he was a winner in life. And so he's always been one of my favorite players. I don't have all of his cards. I had a card of his that I really loved that I sold years ago, which was the 49 leaf. That's a card I would love to get back someday. I sold that when I used to set up at shows when I was a teenager, so I wish I still had that card. But this video is going to have a little bit of everything. It's going to show raw cards. It's going to show graded cards. It's going to show cards that are ultra modern. It's going to be a little bit of everything, but it's all tied into Stan Musial. And then, if I'm feeling like it, probably depends on what this is, I'm going to have a little bit of a, not really a rant, but just a little bit of a commentary about some things I've been seeing recently in the hobby that I just wish we didn't see. But we'll get to that. So I'm going to start with the newest to the oldest of the Stan Musial cards I have. So this is a 2024 Leaf in the Game Triple Jersey Franchise Stan Musial. This is a 1 of 1. So if you care about such thing, this is the only one out there. Now, I'm sure there's ones that look just like this that say They're up to 3 or to 6, but this is the only one of this card. And I love to have this in my collection. I don't like ultramodern for the most part unless it's tied into players from the past, and that's one of them. This one is a 2005 playoff triple game used. It's got pieces of a jersey, his bat, and then a signature. This one is a 6 of 10. Now, obviously, it's not a autograph on the card because he had passed away by this time. But it's still a beautiful card, and I like to have this. The next one is, I'm not exactly sure what this is. I think it's a 2004 Legendary Cuts Historic Swatches. This is a cool card. I don't know if this is numbered. I don't care. It might be. I don't see it. It's still a cool card. But now let's go into the playing day cards. And I'm not going to show all the ones I have in my collection. I'm going to show you some of my favorites. And then we'll open up that Wheaties Premium and see how that goes. So this is one of my all-time multiplayer cards. I'm sure you guys have all seen this before. It's the 1963 Topps Pride of the NL. I love that card. I think I might have one graded. I'm not sure. But you know, there's nothing wrong with the raw cards. Raw cards. You see, here's a little secret that I think you all know. All vintage cards started off as raw. And so if they're raw, that's the way they were born. Nothing wrong with that. Another image of his, I like 62 Topps Stan Musial. I'm trying to break that habit of saying Musial. I know it's Musial. Here's another 62 Topps Musial Plays 21st Season. It's kind of a cool card. And I'm a big fan. I like the wood borders on the 62. Here's a little bit of a different one. This is a 1961 new card. These are really cool. They're like newspapers. And these are pretty affordable. And you can get, DiMaggio's. There's Mantle card. Walter Johnson, Bob. And there's all kinds of greats in this set. And it's affordable. So if you're new at collecting vintage or you collect vintage on a budget, these are cool. I really like those. 61 Topps. Another pretty card. $19.59 Topps. This one everybody probably has, the 1958 Topps All-Star. I think this is triple printed, so this is a pretty easy one to get. And this was his first Topps card. I know most of you in the vintage community know that, but if you're new, this is his first Topps card, 1958. Kind of jumped out of order. I was going to do these in order, but doesn't matter. 1960. Now we're going to get to my two favorite Musial cards in my collection. Maybe tied if this other one turns out okay. This, I don't know if you can find a better image on a baseball card. I know there's some, but this has got to be in the top 20, in my opinion. 1953 Bowman. That's just beautiful. I mean, that's just a beautiful image. The backs are cool. I love this design. Now, I would like to show you a 1954 Red Heart Stan Musial. I don't have one. That is a card that is going to be on my list of cards that I would like to pick up at Strongsville. I'm going to have a list of probably 15 to 20 cards. Not that I'm going to get 15 to 20. I'm hoping to get one. But that's going to be one of them that's on my list to get. And then I do have his rookie. 1948 Bowman. Again, I love the image on that card. So if you want to look up his stats to see where he ranks, Baseball Digest, you would rather do that than listen to me ramble on about it. But just one of the greatest ball players of all time. And I don't do player runs, but I absolutely know I'm going to get more Stan Musial cards over the years. So let's go ahead and let's open this puppy up Yeah, that's the right way. So I got my scissors here, and I'm going to try not to damage it. So I'm telling you, if this thing is cracked, I'm going to lose my everlasting mind on this video, because, man, this has been several months in the making here. All right, take your time, Jayhawk Mike. Don't mess this thing up. Oh, I hope this is good. I don't want to see a crack. When this thing came to me damaged, it just was awful. There's the invoice. Got the rubber bands off. It's in the plastic sleeve. Alright, let's see. I'm going to take my glasses off so I can actually... I don't see very well with my glasses up front there to see distance. Alright. Oh yeah. The front is nice and clean. Back is nice and clean. Now I'm going to check the edges, because sometimes those will be cracked. Jayhawker Mike is very, very happy. There she is, boys. Oh, that's a beautiful card. I can't even see it in the camera because I don't have my glasses on, but I can see it up close. Let me just set this here and put my glasses on so I can tell where actually I'm holding this darn thing. 1951 Wheaties Premium Stan Musial. I think, I'm not too, I don't really care too much about pop reports, although I do have that 56 tops Roy Campanella that's the SGC 7, which is the highest graded by SGC by 2 grades. I think there's 1/6 of this, and I think this is the third 5. Nothing higher than those. Isn't that beautiful? It's blank back. But I love it. Finally. You see it? I'm going to stare at this thing for, I can't tell you how long, because I look at my cards. I don't just shove them in a drawer after I get them. So, that makes me happy. So relieved. So now that I'm in a good mood, I feel like I should talk about an issue that kind of bothers me, just because I feel bad for some of you out there who create content and you're struggling with the number of subscribers that you have. Guys, I've been doing this for not 5 months, and I have 250 or so subscribers. I tell some people that, or most people that, and they're like, wow, that's great. That's far exceeded my expectations, because I didn't really have any. I was hoping to get 100 subscribers, maybe 200 after doing this a year, because I didn't really care. And I might have showed this on a collaboration video with somebody, but when I first started before I started doing content, I had this little book here where I started writing some notes on things I wanted to do, story ideas or video ideas, and I wrote down my expectations, what I wanted to get out of being a content creator. Now, I knew that I collect vintage cards. I know that I don't have vintage cards like some of the higher end guys do. So I figured I would, probably communicate and get followers who are more in my line, but that's not necessarily true. I get watches from guys who have some of the best collections out there. I get guys who communicate with me, leave comments on my videos, and send me emails. And these are guys who have great collections. I also get a lot of responses and comments on my videos and emails for people who have collections just like me, and people who have collections that maybe are lower value than I do. I love it all. I like just talking about cards. I consider everybody out there a buddy, a brother. somebody who I can communicate with. So always feel free to reach out to me, either through the comment section. My email's out there, so you can shoot me an email. I have an Instagram, so you can communicate with me that way. I love the discussion. I love talking about cards. I don't look down on other people. If you have opinion that I don't agree with, I might let you know that. But I tend to, most of the people in our community are very similar. We're more similar than we are different. But I wrote this down because I wanted my expectations to be something that I can strive for, knowing that I can adjust them at any time. So I might have showed this on a collaboration video. But my expectations, originally I put none. And then I crossed it out because that was just stupid. That's just being naive. And maybe all this is naive. But I scratched out none for my expectations, and I wrote in have fun. For my goals, I didn't put on there anything about cards. So this is what I wrote. My expectations were to have fun. My goals were to make connections and have fun and learn. You see, I knew a lot about vintage cards growing up, or so I thought, because we didn't know about all these old sets. They weren't in the old price guides, not even the thick ones. We didn't know about these rare sets like Red Heart and Hires Root Beer and all the different tobaccos and regional sets. We didn't know a lot of those cards. Golden Age I knew a lot about. But once I got back into collecting during COVID, and once I started watching your content out there for you who create the content, my mind was blown. There's so much out there, and it can be overwhelming, or you can look at it like, oh, this is great. I choose to look at, this is great. I love seeing the stuff that Orlando puts out there. I love seeing the cards that Mike Petty shows, or that Tony Southern Collector shows, or that Chris from Missouri shows, or all you guys. Cards that I will never, ever even come close to owning. But I love seeing them. I love learning about them. There's a video on the 1912 Hassan triple folders that was on Bowman 53. If you haven't watched that, and I'm sure anybody who watches this has watched that, go back and watch it. I watched it 3 times because that Phil, I can't remember his last name, was showing his book and talking about that. That was pure bliss for me. I ate that up. See, that's what this community should be. It shouldn't be competing for views. It shouldn't be worried about how many likes that you get or how many comments that you get. Guys, we started collecting, most of us, when we were teenagers or even younger than that. I know Double D did. This is a hobby. This should be fun. Why are we stressing out about grading? Why are we stressing out about things that are out of our control? Now, I say that from a situation where that's right for me, but it may be different for you. But let's have fun with this. Let's focus on communicating with each other, enjoying. I mean, we can't watch everybody's videos. We can't. I'm already at that stage. I can't watch all the people that I have subscribed to. I watch a lot. I probably, honestly can say I probably watch a lot more content than the majority of viewers because I don't have a lot of other stuff going on. My kids are grown. I have a lot of free time in the evening and on the weekends. So this is my thing that I like to do. And I'm very enthusiastic and passionate about it because from the time I was a kid, collecting cards was my safe space. It was my thing that I liked to do. What I didn't like was that I collected on an island for so long. And when I found the YouTube community, things is like light bulbs going up. And I found my people. So I just say for those of you who are struggling and worried about your channels and the content that you put out that nobody appreciates it, hey, I'm probably not going to get a lot of likes on this one. I'm going to post a video on grading. I'll get 10 times as many views. But that's okay. I know who's going to watch this. And I hope others do too. And I hope everybody enjoys it. I hope everybody who watches this would leave a comment. I don't expect that. But it would be nice. But I'm not going to stress out about it. You see, when we started collecting, we didn't care about breaking. We didn't care about grades. They didn't exist. We didn't care about the value. For the most part, we didn't care about the value of the cards. And you know what? I can say this And I swear, I don't care about future values. Now, I've had that discussion with I can't tell you how many people, and every one of them goes, oh, well, you got to at least consider future value at some point. I mean, you don't want your cards to tank, right? Guys, I've been collecting cards for over 40 years. I have a stack of price guides from 1980 till they stopped making them. I still do, but you know what I mean. And I can tell you this. Don't believe me. Believe the facts. The books don't lie. Vintage cards don't crash. They don't tank. Now, there's players whose cards kind of plateau and don't really go up for whatever reason. I know when I started, Steve Garvey cards were much more popular now, or then than they are now. Same with Roger Maris. Same with Rod Carew. You hardly ever hear anybody talk about Rod Carew and Steve Garvey anymore. But even their cards, they don't tank. So you have these young guys saying, oh, the vintage hobby is doomed, this and that. They've been saying that for 40 years. It's not going to happen. It always does this. If you go back and and look at cards, any card set from a regular issue, they all go like this. They go up and they plateau. They go up, they plateau. They go up and plateau. Sure, especially when a player passes away, their cards will shoot up and then everybody buys those and they crash down a little bit. But it's not really crashing. I mean, what is crashing in the market tanking? What does that even mean? It means something different to you than it does to me, just like everything else does. Where I care about value is when I purchase a card because I'm on a limited budget. But, I didn't get this card hoping that in 5 years it's double the price. I don't care. I didn't get this card hoping that in 10 years it's going to be double the price. If it is, hey, that's great. If it's not, I don't care. This card is in my collection. That's what I care about. I got this card in my collection. I got this 1.5 Stan Musial in my collection. I don't care it's a 1.5. I don't care if some ultra modern guy says, oh, you should get a 8 or 9 or 10, you're wasting your money. That's never going to be worth anything. Look at how much this card would have cost me if I would have got it 30 years ago compared to now. You see, I look at cards, and the way I buy cards is I want to get the best card of a card that I want in a condition that I know I'm going to love forever. And I don't worry about anything else. But if I know it's a card that I may not be able to afford because cards go up, I may not be able to afford a card that I want, and no matter what the condition is in 5 or 10 years, I'm more likely to pull the trigger and get it now. But guys, let's have fun. These are naive for most of you. They were right for me. And you know what? I'm having a blast. I'm having a blast. These are very simple expectations and goals. And I've reached them all. I've made great connections. I have friends. I had 0 vintage hobby friends before I joined the YouTube community. 0. Now I have a couple dozen that I consider friends. Guys who maybe they don't view me as quite the friend that I do them. I'm sure Sammy Thunder doesn't view me the same as I view him, or Jason Everyday Card Collector, or Aaron from Value Vintage Cards, but they're my buddies. John Mangini, man, if I see him, I'm going to treat him like a friend. He may not know who I am, but I know who he is. And I love his content because I know when he was a kid, he and I collected a lot alike. And in our heart, that's how I still collect. And I don't want to change. And I won't change. I don't get influenced by all the stuff going on with the grading, although I love talking about it. I love the discussion. I don't stress about it. I don't stress over it. Why? This is a hobby. This is fun. If I am so into this that this is my retirement source, I'm doing something wrong. If I am so stressed out about what's going on with SGC and PSA and breakers and the price of flipping and if I'm stressing out about any of that, I'm doing something wrong and I need to reevaluate how I collect. So let's have fun with this. Take a break from the stress. Go get your cards. Go get some cards you haven't looked at for a long time. Maybe cards that you've had a long time. Get some raw cards, right? Go find some raw cards that don't have a grade, so the value doesn't matter, right? Enjoy them. Look at them. Let it take your mind back to a place where life was easier, life was more simple. We got enough crap going on in our lives and in the world to worry about. This is a hobby. Let's have fun. Till next time, I hope you keep collecting. And I hope you enjoy collecting.